This is Marquessa Petway coming to you from New York City, and I get a chance to interview my fellow speakers in the business. You may wonder, who am I? I'm a business reinvention expert. I help entrepreneurs create six-figure systems, and I'm a proud Speaker Magazine columnist. My column is called Speaker Toolkit, and this is all about strategies and best practices for professional speakers. And today, guys, we have a superstar. Yes, it was so fun I think I spoke with her at the most recent Influence conference and said, I have to get you, Roxanne, I have to get you. I've respected her for many years. And let me tell you a little bit about her so she can tell you about her journey that's so inspiring. Roxanne Emmerich went from poverty, growing up on a dairy farm, to now advising many of the top performing CEOs and entrepreneurs in the world today. Now, guys, she's been recognized by NSA as a Speaker Hall of Fame. Big deal. She's also a CSP. And she helps organizations and their leaders get unstuck. And what I really admire is her ability to be known as really being strong when it comes to getting triple results. And this is in customer service area, sales results. She'll tell you more about that. I don't know if you guys remember her book, Thank God It's Monday. Not only do I love her book, but I love the way she launched the book, the website, the participation she got from fellow experts, really brilliant and strategic. And one other thing I want to say, some speakers try to dominate their industry, and someday will dominate their industry, but Roxanne Emmerich truly dominates the financial and banking industry. And she's done this for 26 years. So I don't want to say anything else. I want her to come in and tell us a little bit about her success. So welcome to Speaker Magazine Live, Roxanne.
Thank you. You are the energizing bunny today. I'm so excited to be on the line with you. I feel better just talking to you.
Thank you. Well, Roxanne, take us back. You've been in this industry for 26 years. First of all, what brought you in here? What made you decide, I want to speak, I want to grow a speaking empire?
Oh, that's a small world. Okay, so Chris Clark Epstein, I actually hired her. I was running a de novo bank, and we were setting some records in terms of national growth and profitability. And I hired Chris Clark Epstein, who is a legend in the National Speakers Association, to come speak to my group. And she asked a question, and the answer, and whoever gave the right answer received a free book. Well, I received a book called Power of Purpose. And I went home that night and I read it, and 3 o'clock in the morning, I made a decision to go in the next morning and give a 6-month notice, and let them know that I knew exactly what I wanted to do the rest of my life, that my gift has always been turning around businesses, and that I didn't want to do it for one business. I wanted to do it for lots of businesses. And I also knew that I wanted to be speaking to get that done, and to create transformational experiences for humans, because great businesses are made out of great humans. So that was the moment, and I literally acted off of that. My boss said to me, well, can you make a living doing that? And I said, I don't know. I don't know anybody who's ever done it. Other than Chris Clark Epstein, I think she's making a living. I don't know. But I just know I need to do this. And so the decision was made at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I stuck with it ever since.
Okay. Now, Roxanne, that's wonderful to hear. A lot of speakers decide, all right, I want to do with this. Those first 10 years can be scary. You are truly now putting yourself out there as an expert that speaks. What do you think helped you do this so well? Because you are known to have done this in our industry successfully, making it into the 7-figure world. Can you tell us, for that first 10 years, what were some of your best steps or strategies?
Okay. Well, it took me about 10 years to get into the 7-figure area. So we've been in that area for about 16 years now. And so, but the key is, I remember I have a friend who is just phenomenal in the speaking industry, and he said to me that when he first got started, he did just a ton of speaking at a very low fee, just because he knew he would get good. And I think when people bypass that and they want to go right up to a higher fee, that's a problem. And I do agree. I've been a protege of Nino Cobain's for a million years, and really appreciate who he is and what he's doing in the world. And one of the things that he taught me that was truly transformational for my business was, it's malpractice just to speak only. They have problems, go solve the problems. And that was just like for me, because I thought, well, they do, but I didn't want to be that annoying person who stuck around and made them dependent on me. But now I realize it's not dependent, it's that we are the wind underneath their wings. And so, the 27 core processes that we build now and build into financial institutions allows for them. We just had our strategic planning think tank and our super conference, and we also have the Extraordinary Bank Awards. We gave away a car in a school in Africa. And one of the things that was astonishing and heartwarming as I'm putting my key into the door in my hotel room that night, my head of senior leadership consultant was putting in her key in the door right next to mine. And I said, Christy, if we don't make it through the night, we done good here. And she goes, I know. And it was very emotional because each of our clients was telling us about how they moved their needles. And so there were banks that were just about to close that are now top performers in their states. There were banks that were told they had to lay off a third of their people that are now performing top in their states. And one after another client told their success story of the needles they moved. And it was like, wow. The way that we approach that is it's not just the 27 core processes, it's that we show them that great companies are made of great people, and we all have the ability to be great people, but sometimes we need a buff here and a scrub there to learn what are the communication patterns, how to come from heart, how to live your word. All of that is stuff that doesn't come naturally. We got to learn this. And so when we show organizations how to grow their people, organizations grow.
Oh, I love that. Now, oftentimes as professional speakers, we quickly identify what we're really good at and what we're terrible at. Roxanne, what would you say are your best, assets in your business? It could be, I'm great at marketing, I'm great at sales, but not just when you're working inside your business, but when you're working on your business. Where would your sweet spot be where you feel like you're strong and natural for you?
My sweet spot is I teach people to own their gifts. And so I'm a very humble person, but I'm going to own this. I can walk into a room and I can transform a group of people faster than anybody else that I know. And so I can take all kinds of dysfunction and turn it into functional behaviors very, very quickly and get them all aware of how to deal with the dysfunctional behaviors and be intolerant of the dysfunctional behaviors. And because when you take dysfunction out of an organization, organizations thrive. So my gift is I can walk in, I can see who's the passive aggressive, who's the gossip, who's the person not using advancing language, but always just being in complaint. And I can come with enough love in my heart that I can confront it in a productive way and move it through. So when I do actual work on a client's site within an organization, so typically these organizations will have anywhere from 50 to 1,000 people that we're working with in what we call the kick butt kickoff. I'm very good at getting people's heads and getting them to shift on a dime. We just had a client, he's been awarded the top CEO in the state of Oklahoma this last year and has won pretty much every award. And he said to me, he says, Roxanne, in this cute little Oklahoma accent, Roxanne, I've been to pretty much every leadership program there is, but what we just did, that's crazy. That's just crazy. No one could ever tell me you could get that many results that quickly. And this was a $200 million bank I started working with 6 months ago. They're now $300 million. I mean, that doesn't happen in reality. And so when you shift people, you shift results.
And that's one of the things that everyone knows about you. You know how to move the needle.
I love moving needles.
I remember hearing...
I was born to move needles. I love moving needles.
What are your thoughts? You mentioned something earlier, and I so want everyone to hear you say it. The speaking industry is changing. And if the results aren't there, you're not going to be around very long. Can you just sort of tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Okay. So there's this new concept. One of my buddies down at NSA was exploring this concept with me called VUCA, which is this disruption. So basically, an example of VUCA is the fact that people used to pay $1 million to go get the license to drive a taxi in New York City and be able to have rights to have that car. And then suddenly along comes Uber and 60% of the revenue goes away within 2 years. That's VUCA. Volatility, uncertainty, I can't remember what all the letters are, but it's basically hang on to your shorts, things are going to get weird real fast. And I think that there's a lot of industries ripe for VUCA in the next 18 months. And I think the speaking industry is one of them. And so we went through a major clean out in 2008, 2009. That wasn't fun. And some survived. And I think we're about to have another clean out, unfortunately. But I see clean outs as a huge area of opportunity for those who are awake for it. And so I think those who understand that speaking is a part of your business, but it can't be all of your business, because how do you build wealth? Like even when I was speaking, 15 years ago, I was speaking in the $20,000 fee range, and I was doing 100, 120 a year. You still can't accumulate wealth by the time you pay your expenses and your taxes out of that. There's not, you're making a great income, but there's not wealth accumulation. And so building a business that goes in and demonstrably makes impact on the customers, that's what there'll always be money for. So even during the Great Depression, if you look at the companies that continued to thrive and survive during that time, they were in marketing, they were in sales, they were teaching people how to move needles, and they were good at it. And so I would say get good at what you do, not just like, oh, am I not charming as I speak? We got to be charming. That's important. We got to be able to be entertaining as we're presenting, but entertaining is not the answer. One of my clients just referred to me as a one-woman economic recovery program. and I don't care if there's a recession or depression. I know my clients will thrive because I understand enough about business and I understand enough about the psychology of getting people to do the right behaviors that I can get them through the bad times. And I really think that we have an inherent responsibility to develop ourselves, no matter what it is that we're teaching, to develop ourselves such that we are unstoppable during good times and bad, because they're not coming to us to have the pretty face and first world problem solved. Our job is to make sure that we are building a platform that's sustainable.
Oh, I love
the results. And so what does that look like for what you do? You got to figure that part out. Because I think that's an important piece. For the first time in my business, I'm offering something new that I'll be offering end of this year, where I'm going to be taking people who have already some speaking businesses or whatever, and showing them how to take what we're doing and add that to their business, so that they can take what would otherwise be a $10,000 or $20,000 client and have it be a $250,000 client, because they don't need that many of those, and they can be home with their family more and have that experience. So because some people will never learn how to build that themselves, and what I'm realizing, and what I said to my team is, it's not okay that we're an entity by ourselves. We got to get this out bigger. So I can't just have my senior leadership consultant team out here doing this. We got to have all kinds of people who can make this impact on the world, because there's no need for recessions and depressions when people get distinctions right. It's just a distinction issue. People just don't know how to do these things that create the results.
Oh, this is so good. This naturally takes me into the next question. Speakers always want to know your business model. One thing Joel Block said, who's also a member of the $1 Million Roundtable with NSA, most of the folks that are a member of this are experts that speak. You got to look at what you do better. And business models seem to be quite similar. Can you sort of break down a little bit, Roxanne? Do you spend maybe 20% of your time here with speaking, a percentage of your time training, and maybe send out other folks, a percentage of your time on consulting? Can you give us a big picture of idea of how you sort of break out your business?
Okay, well, I'll give you a tour of the office here. It's lunchtime, so a lot of them are gone right now, but you can see these are my orange barn doors here that go out into my office building. So you get a bit of a tour of some of my team. But I have out there a bunch of senior leadership consultants, and so they've all been certified in our process and been tested, and so it's hard to learn our process, but we teach them the breakthrough process. We have what we call the 27 key core processes. So there are some of those who know how to do what we call a kick butt kickoff, which is how we initiate the transformation. For many years I was the only person doing those, which constipated our business model because we couldn't bring on a client until I had an available date to do a kickoff. And so now I have more and more people learning how to do that. Then they take them down through a process of the implementation of our 27 key processes. We have our Thank God It's Monday U, which is an interactive learning and communication and accountability platform where the employees, based upon what their position is within the organization, they have a curriculum plan that they follow. And then we have certificates that they use that they can come to our sessions. So like next week, we have 3 different sessions where we have a big training room downstairs. And so people come in from all over the country. Executives come in for training on different topics. I also have a couple independent contractors. Like I have the guy who is still holds the record at IBM for opening the most new accounts. He's still considered to be the legend of IBM. He's our top sales trainer. And so he comes in and does sessions. And then we have just all kinds of other certification courses with some other independents. But then our team also, they have courses that they're taking people down and teaching. So it's not just me being the only rainmaker within the organization. And then there's support people out there in marketing and operations and different components as well. So, it's more work. Like I just spent the last 2 days doing performance reviews. There's a part of me wanting to pull my hair out right now because I want to be out there, not doing performance reviews. But when you run a business like this, it's the reality of we do quarterly performance reviews to get everybody grounded and knowing how to optimize what they're doing and moving it ahead. So it's a combination of, I just spoke at BAI, which is the largest international banking conference last week. I bring in leads from that. The team is working on that to go and get them and have conference calls. We do webinars to pull them into the process. So I speak at a lot of the banking conferences, but even though banking's our niche, I also speak a tremendous amount outside the banking industry because I have all kinds of clients in all industries, always have, who just want to know how do I transform my culture and also how do I develop as a leader. So those are things that I continue to do outside of banking industry. And so we're actually bringing our processes now that we've only specialized in banking. Now we're going to have the back end available as well in the business world. So anybody who has employees can take them down through this process of getting people to all know how they tie to profit every day and getting better at what they do.
You are a powerhouse. Listening going, whoa, she does all of this. But
I'm never bored.
I know. And that's what I love about this industry. We can do anything we want. Would you say that a lot of folks find you or approach you or decide to work with you based on referrals, based on online traffic, social media is hot? How do you think most people find out about you and ultimately become your client?
I think it's mostly still word of mouth. And, I agree with, what's the marketing guy's name who wrote The Purple Cow? Oh boy, my tongue. But he wrote a book called Tribes. Oh, why can't I think of his name? Bald guy, shaved head.
Is that Seth Godin? No, it's not.
It's a good thing to be a speaker and you can't find words, right? Anyway, he talked about how, back years ago, if people wanted to get somebody good to shoe their horse, they'd say, who do you know who shoes horses? And it was all referral and word of mouth. Then, the 50s came along and suddenly, all the promotions from marketing and advertising were getting people to do things. And he said, now we no longer believe those messages. Everything's going back to word of mouth. And so most of our clients come in from our other clients going, you got to go talk to these people. And those are the best clients to bring in. So I probably have the worst website and social media and NSA because I don't really care because I know what works, and that is getting the job done. So I still think at the end of the day, people want return on investment from a speaker. And so, and I turn away a lot of business. People will call me, they want me to speak. And I said, I can't in good conscience take this piece of business because you're going to pay me a lot of money to speak, and it's going to be like Chinese food, and you're going to be hungry soon, but you're going to enjoy the trip. You're going to enjoy the ride. But I want to be a bigger contributor. And so if you really want to move these needles, then here's what I'm going to recommend alternatively. And almost always they go with that plan additionally. And so you have to be okay to not just speak. And, you know, we all love speaking. I used to do, gosh, 140, 160 speeches a year was crazy. I probably more than that now. But now they're much more refined, and some of them are in client sites instead of just doing the association gigs and that type of thing. And so, I'm still not bored. I'm still speaking constantly. But that said, it's a much more focused, and sometimes I'm speaking at my own events because we put on, I just hired a whole bunch of NSA speakers a couple weeks ago for our community banking super conference. And I also had Yakov Smirnov, who maybe you don't know who that is, but he was a Russian comedian who used to be on Johnny Carson, for those of us old enough to remember him. So we bring in speakers. John Cilio did a great job for us. I love him. And our clients loved him as well. So we bring in speakers as well for our events. But we're looking for people who move needles, because that's our theme is, hey, we're there to make sure you have a sustainable, advancing organization and build the structures, the mindsets, the templates, the tools, the franchise system to get that done.
It just is so exciting speaking with you, and this is a masterclass, certainly. I looked it up while you were speaking. Purple Cow was definitely written by Seth Godin.
Seth Godin! Oh, I knew as soon as you said it.
I'll make sure I looked it up. Thank you. Roxanne, how can folks that are listening to this reach out to you or learn more about what you do?
Well, they can go to emmerichgroup.com. It's our website. We're actually making changes, so it's getting better. And so that's happening real soon. They can also, they can email me at roxanne@emmerichgroup.com, but please be kind. Just know that I work a tremendous amount of hours, and I will always put client needs first. And so please know that I'm not going to go to lunch and I'm not going to go for coffee. But if you need something quickly, I'm more than happy to help with what I can. And so please use that judiciously, because I get a tremendous, ridiculous, crazy amount of emails that I have to sort through. And so there's only so many I can handle, and I don't want to not live my word in the follow through. So use appropriately. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you. This is what makes our NSA family so beautiful. Thank you for everything you do. Guys, don't forget to check out Speaker Toolkit in Speaker Magazine to hear some rich nuggets from Roxanne. Share this with your friends. As again, this is located on speakermagazine.com. And my name is Marquessa Petway. You can find me at gottaspeaknow.com, and talk to you guys later.
Thank you.